it was very interesting to watch Stu come out and attack me, threaten me with lawsuits and jail, along with his buddy, Barbara Hartwell, who was a self-proclaimed CIA victim of mind control, who's turned out to be another CIA disinformer, attacking people like Fritz Springmeier, who have done extensive work on Illuminati families. You were talking about the Bush bloodlines.
Yeah, I have guys work on my website at the Watcher Files.
Fritz has written a number of books on CIA mind control, Illuminati bloodlines. Fritz was set up on phony bank robbery charges. They said he had an arsenal. He had an SKS and some ammo, etc. Same thing that happened with Mark Kornke. You look at the actions of these people versus what they say, because what they say can sound good. Anyway, I was asked to co-host a radio program. Mark Kornke was a Michigan patriot who had formed Michigan Militia and was actually active in trying to get people to prepare to physically defend against the New World Order. And if you look at who the government has gone after people, this will give you a clue as to who they really fear. Mark Kornke, Fritz Springmeier, Bob Stewart, Bill Cooper, and others who actively encourage physical defense against a tyrannical government. They have no qualms against fingering Israel and Zionism as part of the problem. Anyway, I was asked to do Mark Kornke's show when Mark was also set up on phony bank robbery charges in Michigan and put away. He's still in a prison. It was a Fed that actually pulled the bank robbery, and they couldn't charge him on the robbery charges, so he was afraid for his son's life and had taken off in a car. The police rammed his car and put him in jail for endangering a police officer, even though they rammed his car, and absconding, since they couldn't press him for bank robbery charges. And, of course, the ADL condemns him, immensely. Again, he was actively preparing people to defend physically against the New World Order. We're not talking about the Video of the Month Club like Alex and Joyce Wiley and others, have become. Heard Dave Weiss say the other day that the government lied and infiltrated a bunch of groups, and people ought to get these groups back together again, except perhaps militias. Now, I'm not in a militia. I'm doing Mark's program on radio, but I fully encourage their existence. The BATF was blowing up Ryder trucks 1 year before the Oklahoma City bombing. And then they turned around, and as soon as the building was blown up, they turned around and said, it must have been an ammonium fertilizer bomb. They staged this event to be blamed on militia groups, even though Timothy McVeigh was thrown out after one meeting in a militia group there in Michigan. Again, this was used to taint the militia movement, and they were infiltrated. I fully encourage militia groups to regroup. That's the only way you're going to defend yourselves.
Yeah, and a lot of them are.
Now, anyway, back to, you build your truth kind of like you do a jigsaw puzzle, a piece at a time.
Yeah.
You attach one piece to another piece and another piece, and if something doesn't fit, you don't have a bunch of pride attached to that. You take the puzzle piece out and you find one that does fit.
Yeah.
Well, over time we came to find out that Barbara Hartwell and Stu Webb were about as big of phonies as you could get. In April 2003, they both posted screeds on the Internet saying that we filed a court case against George Bush, the criminal New World Order traitor, blah, 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 blah. Well, my wife happened to be a clerk for Tippecanoe County, and, the suggestion was made to call the court in Colorado. Guess what? There was absolutely no court case filed. And after I put this out on the Internet, complete with the telephone number for people to call, saying, call them yourselves. Of course, we were attacked again by Stewie and Barb, Stewie and Blabs. And then come July 2003, they said they filed another court case. Of course, this one was done in such a way you couldn't find out any information on it. But, the old saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You and I had also seen Stewie put out a bogus restraining order trying to hush us up. Seriously, folks, he put out this restraining order telling us that, we were under threat of jail if we continue to attack the great Stewie.
Yeah, and at that point, I didn't even know who I was. Had never even talked to him, and I'm on this thing for stalking, and I don't even know who he is. Had never talked to him. So it's always been entertaining.
I mean, he accused you of being a child beater. He accused me of being FBI Division 5 he accused us all of working for Ted Gunderson.
Yeah, now he just has me as a wannabe somewhere with Ted Gunderson, and of course I've never met the man. I had him on my radio show once, and he missed the show. He slept through it. But yeah, he just puts all these, he grasps at straws and tries to put things together, and it's just ridiculous. And so you know what? Who the good people are usually is find out who he hates.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Lies and liars lie together. And this is what I'm leading up to, because we've got this story here lately that even the American Free Press has run on the basis of Greg Szymanski citing Thomas Hennigan. Well, Thomas Hennigan is the one that ran, supposedly, with Stu Webb as president, vice president, under their little ticket. Hennigan parrots Stu Webb's lies.
Yeah.
Says he's a stockbroker in California, and he's got ties to the grand jury, blah, 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 blah. Again, there was a very interesting situation that happened on Genesis Radio, and I have audio clips here. I played them before, but it's very important for people to hear this because it sets up exactly who lied, and just about everybody lied. For example, here's one where, Stewie had gotten on this show, and he was talking about, the United States is going to be attacked by 1 million Chinese robotoids. No joke, folks, kind of like the Terminator types. Well, I don't know about you, but there's no shortage of Chinese to throw at the United States. They're funneling through the Panama Canal, and if I had good, loyal Chinese robotoids, I'd keep them for the inner circle. I wouldn't throw them, outside. I'd keep them for the inner defense.
Yeah, well, what floored me is that China owns Costco, and if you're ever stuck on a train waiting for a train to pass, you'll see all the Costco containers. And they've been running for years, and I've heard that they're bringing in their own weapons through these containers.
Yeah, and sure they could have bombs and other things, but as far as the technology, I just don't buy the robotoid thing. And this is just one bogus story out of a bunch of them that Stewie sensationalized. But anyway, I knew that these guys were put up on GCN Radio by John Statmiller, who was a friend of Mark Kornke's, or at least he pretended to be a friend of Mark Kornke's. He later said he was glad that Mark Kornke got arrested. Statmiller is one of the money-grabbing phony patriots. He's now currently advocating people to go down to Mexico and take pictures of the illegal immigrants coming over. Like that's going to do a lot of good, folks. Take pictures.
You don't have to go down to Mexico. You can just sit at our border.
Yeah, and the Minutemen have had very good success with this. But notice that the ones that are put up before millions, Alex Jones and Joyce and some of these others, put on George Norrie and others, they don't seem to advocate standing your ground. They don't advocate physical defense against the New World Order when the New World Order is coming to take you to FEMA camps and kill you.
Yep.
You have every right, according to the Bible, to defend yourself, and screw these guys to wood block someplace.
Actually, you are commanded to defend yourself.
Yes.
And people take the passive position of sitting back and doing nothing because the churches have lulled them to sleep thinking that they can't defend themselves, that they're just supposed to lay over and die. And that is not true.
Now let me go ahead and play this clip here because this is important. At the time I was doing Mark Kornke's show on Genesis, and I knew that Stewie and Blabs were coming up, and I had warned the owner, Ted Anderson, and Statmiller, and Alex, that these guys were on there soliciting money for a court case that they had never filed. Now, that's called fraud, and they didn't want to hear it. So when I knew that they were coming up, and I knew that Hartwell had a history of attacking Fritz Springmeier because he had good information on the CIA mind control, and she was trying to smokescreen it, I wanted to alert the listeners there. Listen to how quick Alex jumps on this and tries to spin this, folks, and then I'll tell you what happened here. Okay, here we go, and maybe your operator might have to adjust the volume.
Indiana. Larry, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex, I heard you talking about with Craig Roberts yesterday, and I think that was a very good topic, even though some might consider that ethereal. It's important to know that you do have to do something, even if the odds look like they're against you,